the results of the U.S. presidential election be determined by the courts? It's a question that's been looming over this race after Donald Trump suggested that possibility. With the pandemic triggering changes to how ballots are being counted, the stage may be set for judges to intervene. Joining us with more this morning is Senior Counsel of Public Policy and Government Affairs at Common Cause, Stephen Spalding. Welcome to your morning.
Good morning, Anne-Marie.
Well, two states have already proven contentious, are Pennsylvania and North Carolina. Both of those have been permitted to count ballots for several days after the election. They are set for possible court battles. Why is that?
That's right. Well, there have been court battles all over the country in about 44 states as jurisdictions and states boards of elections and local officials had to look at the rules that would govern voting safely in a pandemic. And in both Pennsylvania and in North Carolina, both states that will see a big upsurge in folks submitting their ballots by mail. In those states, given the issues that we've had with the Postal Service, given the massive uptick, a Pennsylvania state Supreme Court decision in Pennsylvania said so long as a ballot is essentially mailed by Election Day and postmarked by Election Day or otherwise indicated to have been mailed on Election Day, if it takes a couple of days to get to the Board of Elections by the mail, that ballot will still count because it was voted on Election Day. The Supreme Court in a 4-4 decision decided not to stay that decision. But they did indicate, at least 3 justices indicated, they might reconsider that decision after the election. Similarly, in North Carolina, the State Board of Elections, given these postal issues, also extended the number of days by which ballots could be delivered by the Postal Service, so long as they're mailed by Election Day, which we think is a pretty good policy. That said, many tens of millions of voters have been following this very closely and are hand-delivering their ballots, voting early in person, or delivering those ballots to drop boxes, which are run by the actual election officials rather than put their ballot in the custody of the Postal Service at this time.
Yeah, concern has been going on for weeks, but really ramped up on Friday when the president tweeted out that he didn't think votes that were counted after November the 3rd should be legitimate votes. And that caused a lot of alarm for a lot of people who took the time to vote early, worried that their vote just wouldn't count.
That's right. And the president is out of step with the way elections have been run here for going back to the Civil War, when actually soldiers voted from the battlefields and had those ballots count. It's not so much that that the voting is happening after Election Day. It just takes time to count ballots. Under our military voting rules, for example, soldiers in the field abroad will have their ballots counted after Election Day, just because on Election Day in some jurisdictions that have not usually run them by vote by mail, they're running the in-person elections and are tallying the votes there. So the president is, yet again, it is very unclear what he's talking about, because both Democrats and Republican voters who vote by mail have long been used to having those ballots actually counted and tabulated in some limited cases after Election Day, so long as those ballots are mailed on Election Day or voted on on or before Election Day.
And those rules change depending on what state you're in. Some days will count it up to days, some will allow up to a month. The other states you've pointed out include Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Florida. What kinds of court battles do you expect to see play out there?
Those are states where we expect the presidential election in particular to be quite close. And if the margin of just a few thousand votes will make a difference, you can bet that both campaigns will be taking a close look at those ballots to ensure that lawful ballots are counted as cast. We know that there's been a very aggressive effort by the president and the Republican Party to try to throw out as many ballots as possible on non-material technicalities. They will be, in some jurisdictions, very closely evaluating a voter's signature, and in some cases that somebody's signature may have changed since they originally got a driver's license when they were 18 years old. And in some jurisdictions, they will compare the signature on a ballot to the signature on a driver's license and determine whether or not they match. And that can really pose a very difficult problem, especially in jurisdictions that don't allow voters to what is called cure their ballot and fix those mistakes. So wherever an election is going to be close, that's where you can expect there to be some court battles that could end up before the United States Supreme Court.
It will all be interesting to watch unfold in the next couple of days. Stephen Spalding, thanks so much.
I appreciate it, Anne-Marie. Good morning.
Thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to subscribe here.
And you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.